Hello lovely yogi, welcome to Flow with Shreya. I'm Shreya and today I'm bringing you another pose breakdown. Today we'll be going over plank pose. Plank pose is an essential in any yoga practice and it's great for core strength. So today I'm going to be going over how to get in and out of the pose, the variations and modifications, as well as some tips. If you want to learn more about plank pose, come flow with me. Plank pose is one of the foundational poses in any vinyasa practice. It's a pose that requires strength in your core, your shoulders and arms, as well as your legs. So it's a total body pose. There are many different variations you can take to make this pose accessible to you. So let's get started. Take a moment to get onto your hands and knees first, coming into your tabletop. Bringing your knees underneath your hips, your shoulder, elbow, and wrist all in one line. Spread your fingers wide and press through the base of your thumb and index finger here. This creates a strong foundation for your arms and shoulders. Now tuck your toes under and begin to walk your palms forward so that there's a straight line all the way from the crown of your head down to your knees. Now you still want your wrists, elbows, and shoulders all in one line to create a strong base here. You can keep your toes tucked under, engage your core here, lift your belly button up and back towards your spine. Keep your legs engaged as well and press back through your heels. This is your modified plank pose. You want to take care here not to let your hips dip, but rather lift your hips up so you create a straight line. This is where the strength comes in for plank pose. Exhale, shift your hips back and come into your child's pose. Inhale and lift back up to your tabletop. This time bringing your wrists and elbows underneath your shoulders. Again, creating that wide, strong base in your palms. Walk your feet back and lift your knees up. Breathe here. And if this is not accessible to you, you can always bring your knees down. But here in this space, be sure to engage your legs and press your heels back just as much as you engage your core. Again, this is a total body pose. Breathe in and out. Hold the pose, but not your breath. Exhale, lower your knees, shift back into your child's pose. Now, one common concern some people have when it comes to plank pose is pain in their wrists. So there are a few different variations you can take to combat that. One thing you can do is make fists and place your knuckles on the ground instead of your palms. That way you can keep your wrists neutral. This is what that would look like. So making your fists, again, keep your wrist, elbow, and shoulder all in one line. Your fists are shoulder width apart, and then just walk your feet back and lift your knees. Again, creating that straight line in your spine. Your entire body should be straight here. Breathe in and out, engage your core, press your heels back. Exhale, lower the knees and shift back into your child's pose. Another variation of plank pose that not only has its own benefits, but can also work for people who have trouble with their wrists is a forearm plank. So in this case, we'll come onto our forearms, elbows underneath your shoulders, shoulder width apart. You can make fists here with your palms, or you can place your palms flat on your mat. And from here, walk your feet back, lift your knees up, engage your core, press your heels back. Same as before, keep your shoulders strong, and again, if you need to, you can always lower your knees to the ground here. Wherever you are, breathe. You might be shaking here, and if you are, you're just building strength. Exhale and lower the knees. Shift back into your child's pose once more, and stretch out your arms here. can make plank pose accessible to you. No matter what type of practice you're doing, when it comes to plank pose, you can always lower your knees and you can always lower onto your forearms or make fists to help your wrists. Plank pose is part of a traditional vinyasa, and that's where you would start before you go into your chaturanga. So let's go over what that would look like in action. Coming to the top of your mat, starting in mountain pose. Inhale your arms up, exhale and fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. As you exhale, plant your palms and step back to your plank. Here we are. Let's breathe here for a few cycles of breath. Again, press back through your heels, engage your core, keep your shoulders strong, and maybe even turn your elbows slightly forward here. You can always have a micro bend in your elbows as well, and you can always lower down to your knees. As you exhale, lower down to your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in and out. Inhale, shift forward, coming to your plank once more. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk forward and fold forward here. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale and fold. Inhale, rise up all the way. Palms come to heart center as you exhale. Now there are also a few different things you can do to strengthen your shoulders and arms while you're in plank pose. So let's try that here. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant the palms, step back to your plank. Again, turn your elbows forward here if you can. The insides of your elbows pointing towards the top of your mat. Fingertips are wide. Heels are pressing back. And you can always come down to your knees for this as well. So here, allow your chest to dip and your shoulder blades to touch behind you. And then round your upper shoulders as you press the ground away from you. These are called scapular push-ups. Doing these scapular push-ups can help you strengthen your arms and your shoulders and maybe even prepare you for a handstand in the future. Exhale, sink back to your child's pose. And there you have it. Plank pose may seem simple, but it really requires strength in your entire body, especially your core. So keep working on it with every practice, and that's what might lead you to some arm balances and handstands in the future. Remember to keep your spine long, to not let your hips dip too much when you're in plank pose, but rather lift your hips, press your heels back, and use your lower body just as much as your upper body to distribute the weight in plank pose. I hope you enjoyed that pose breakdown. If you found these tips helpful, please be sure to share it with someone you care about or on social media so more people can find these tips. It always means a lot to me if you take a second to subscribe to my channel and click the thumbs up button. Also be sure to click the notification bell so you don't miss out on new videos every single Saturday. As always, the clothing I'm wearing, the mat I was practicing on, and any props we've used will be linked in the description bar below. Leave me a comment down below and let me know which pose you'd like me to break down next. If you want to practice plank pose in action, check out this video right here. And if you want more pose breakdowns, check out this playlist right here. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.